At the beginning of the movie, one of the North Korean officers named Ryu Hwan is briefed by a scar-faced colonel. The colonel emphasizes the importance of the mission, stating that even the life itself is nothing compared to the task at hand. In other words, he's essentially sending the officer to his death. He also mentions that if they were to meet again, it would likely be as enemies, and only one of them would survive. 2 years later in South Korea, Ryu Hwan leads an austere life. As per the officer's instructions, he must integrate into South Korean society, pretending to be a local idiot. He faces constant mockery from neighborhood children who throw stones at him and treat him like trash. One resourceful and frugal woman takes him in, treating him like a mother, and everyone in the neighborhood knows him as Dong-gu. The officer is plagued by doubts about his mission. Despite being well-versed in combat tactics, speaking multiple languages, and proficient with all types of weapons, he is forced to act like a fool. Nevertheless, he approaches his mission with utmost responsibility. Every morning, he irritates his nasal passages to simulate a runny nose.
Snot mark completed.
Clumsily tumbles down the stairs, pretending to be awkward. He works at the woman's kiosk, and the kids regularly steal soy sausages from him, thinking he doesn't notice. But Dong-gu remembers everything and keeps track of the stolen snacks. A local lady of the night also frequently visits the shop. Her charms throw him off guard, and he struggles to maintain composure when she appears with a revealing neckline.
Calm down. Don't look at it. That's a mere fitting. It means to the babies.
I asked for the cigarette.
You can get killed wearing like that in the Republic, bitch.
For his work, he receives a modest salary that he keeps in a tin can from a Chupa Chups lollipop. He is ecstatic that he managed to save 200,000 won during his mission, possibly returning to North Korea as a millionaire and buying an apartment. For reference, this amount is equivalent to $140. Dong-gu is known among the locals as a harmless simp. However, he has managed to study the habits and peculiarities of all the residents in the area. He is particularly fond of a girl named Yu Ran, who is friendly towards him and even seems to have some affection for him.
Yoon Yu-run, 22, accounting clerk at a small company. You getting pretty every day.
However, her younger brother, a high school student, mocks him to ensure that such a fool as Dong-gu doesn't set his sights on his sister. However, there's one character in the neighborhood who is aware of who Dong-gu really is.
How long have you been here?
736 days.
It's Chang Seok, the delivery guy. In reality, he is also a North Korean agent, but he has been on the enemy territory for so long that he's started to forget who he really is and doubts whether he's actually doing anything useful for his homeland. However, Dong-gu reminds the chubby man of his duty to his homeland, ensuring he doesn't even think about betraying his country.
Comrade, that's a rebellious idea. You can't measure the missions for a great nation.
In the evening, to strengthen his fool's image, Dong-gu embarks on a mission called public defecation. He starts defecating in front of a passersby right in the middle of the neighborhood, like a dog. However, he never expected that among the passersby would be Yu-ran, the girl he likes, which completely disheartens the young man. The next day, the girl who had been always friendly to Dong-gu avoids meeting him.
You dirty pervert, cheating on the road. Warned you not to pick at my sister. You got it?
Just go when you're done.
You're an idiot.
I need some time alone.
Did I hit too hard?
Jo Do-seok, the son of the woman who took the guy in, approaches him. He treats Dong-gu like an adopted brother. Jo Do-seok takes it upon himself to teach Dong-gu how to fight so that no one bullies him anymore. Dong-gu does a nice jab, then sends him into the stratosphere with an uppercut. However, these are just the dreams of the guy. In reality, he continues pretending to be a retard. Then, the delivery man hands him an envelope containing a photo of his mother, whom he hasn't seen in 11 years. She is the only link Dong-gu has to North Korea, an emotional lighthouse that prevents him from forgetting where he comes from. Moreover, Dong-gu regularly writes letters to his mother, hoping to someday deliver them to her. One day, when Dong-gu, with his so-called foster brother, delivers groceries to a customer, he notices signs of an intruder. Suspecting something is amiss, he concludes that a spy has settled here, and he needs to find out whether the spy is an enemy or an ally. During the evening workout routine, the spy himself, resembling a K-pop star with bleached hair, approaches Dong-gu. They engage in a fight that looks more like friendly sparring, after which they reminisce about their teenage years in the North Korean training camp. Both were commanders of squads that regularly competed against each other.
Your scales didn't get rusty at all.
The arrival of his comrade raises many questions for Dong-gu. Why did they send another intelligence officer to the same area? The orange-haired guy admits that he was sent to control control Donggu and find out if he is still loyal to his homeland. But Donggu doesn't believe the orange-haired. So in the morning, he sets out to shadow his comrade. Our guy successfully conducts surveillance and sees how his comrade tries to audition for some local rock group. However, his North Korean guitar-playing skills are only enough to compete with first graders. Amid other contestants, he looks, to put it mildly, unpresentable.
I wasn't expecting that guys in the South surely can sing and play.
After the audition, in a conversation with Donggu, the orange-haired confesses that his mission is simply to blend in with the crowd, pretending to be a rock star. Donggu is puzzled, wondering why he has the task of portraying a fool everyone walks over, while his comrade gets such a prestigious legend. In the evening, Donggu is awakened by intense knocking at the door. It's one of the boys who constantly bullies him. The boy, in tears, asks Donggu to help find his missing brother. The whole neighborhood is already searching for the lost child. Using his skills, Donggu quickly picks up the trail.
Juvenile diabetes should reduce the sweets. No trace of struggle.
By analyzing the boy's urine, much like Connor in Detroit Become Human. He ninja jumps across rooftops upon hearing the child's voice. Then he takes clothes from the first available clothesline to disguise himself just in case. In the end, Donggu finds the boy in the barber's house. It turns out the boy came to the man's home for cookies, which the barber always gives him. In fact, the barber has eyes for the boy's mom, so he's establishing a relationship with her children. Meanwhile, other residents come to the scene and notice Donggu in very unusual attire.
Damn, what did I pick?
Everyone mistakes him for a pervert who kidnapped the child.
That's my luxury.
But luckily, Donggu manages to make a quick escape thanks to his impeccable physical conditions.
Mr. Park saved them from the pervert.
You've scared us. Thank you, sir.
Where have you been?
The next day, the South Korean Special Service interrogates the North Korean spy. He tells them that 16 years ago, a special Squad 54 was created, consisting of the best soldiers able to fight to the last. They were selected from tens of thousands of North Korean soldiers to form a unit for infiltrating South Korea. These sleeper agents are ready to execute any order from their homeland at any moment. Then the delivery man comes to Donggu. He informs the guy that his mission is over and he is returning to his homeland after 16 years in South Korea. However, he asks Donggu to give him a gun because his entire family in North Korea was arrested while attempting to escape to China. He plans to kill a couple of South Korean officials and then self-destruct, hoping that there's a chance his family will be spared if he does so. Donggu orders him to maintain his composure before their homeland and refrain from doing anything foolish.
It's an order from the lieutenant. This would be the better way to save your family. Do not tinker with the situation.
He hands him a gun, but it turns out to be unloaded. Then the guy dismisses the chubby man, saying,
Stay loyal to the Republic till the minute you die. Try hardest to survive and return home. That's the only way to meet your family again, if they're still alive, even if you end up having the reunion in prison.
Meanwhile, an unknown spy kills the North Korean prisoner who revealed the information about Squad 54 to South Korean intelligence. As a result, the South Korean authorities decide to create a special unit to deal with Squad 54. In the evening, Donggu writes another letter to his mother, confessing that he may not return to North Korea alive. He adds it to the pile of other unsent letters. A stranger points a gun at his head. Donggu asks,
Do you know who you are aiming at?
He inquires about the man's unit, but the stranger remains silent. It turns out to be the same shooter who killed the betrayer a few hours earlier. Then he says he came to test Donggu's loyalty to North Korea and then escapes. Donggu tries to catch the man, but after a long chase across the roofs of low-rise buildings, the mysterious stranger manages to disappear. The local lady of the night notices Donggu on the roof and invites him to have some fun. Donggu entertains the tipsy girl on a carousel and then, with tears in her eyes, she tells him about her difficult life.
My real name is Ha Chum-nan.
Let's get this over quick.
At 18, she gave birth to a child, whom her parents gave up for adoption in the United States. She misses him. Donggu takes the drunk girl home, then tells the rock star wannabe about the encounter with the mysterious stranger. However, the guy is not overly concerned about it. On the way home, Donggu notices that he is being followed by the same stranger. Outsmarting his pursuer, Donggu manages to catch him off guard. It turns out that this stranger is a former subordinate of Donggu. He joined the squad as a little boy and always admired his commander.
I respect you, Comrade Captain.
His name is Hei Jin. However, attempts to talk to him are unsuccessful,
You are assigned to here?
and the young man escapes from Donggu again. All these unexpected encounters unsettle Dong-gu because, for the first time in many years, he has encountered two other North Korean intelligence officers. The next morning, Dong-gu meets Hae-jin again. The young man is in South Korea undercover as a high school student. His mission is to establish friendly relations with Yoo-ran's brother, the one who constantly bullies Dong-gu to prevent him from looking at his sister. In the evening, while ambushing the schoolboy, Dong-gu tries again to find out about his goals in South Korea. He says he must replace Seo Sang-gu, the chubby guy disguised as a delivery man. They witness the blatant advances of Yoo-ran's employer, leaving no room for subtlety, insinuating an intimate connection. Dong-gu asks the schoolboy to intervene, but he refuses and only criticizes the captain for getting attached to the local residents.
Go and help her. She must not see me.
Why should I help that South girl? Are you by any chance worried about her?
Then Dong-gu says,
No, it's not for her. She is Yoo-jun's sister. You need to win family's heart to get his trust.
they kidnap the man and dress him in the clothes Dong-gu wore when he was mistaken for a pervert while looking for the missing boy. They blackmail the man, threatening to expose the photos online if he continues to harass Yoo-ran. The next morning, the three secret agents spend a cheerful time on the roof of the store where Dong-gu works. Suddenly, they notice a conflict between the woman who took him in and local thugs. They threaten the woman that if she buys from other suppliers, her store will have big problems. Dong-gu can't stand idly by and intervenes in the conflict without breaking his foolish image. He redirects the aggression towards himself. Then the thug shoves the woman, but Dong-gu manages to soften her fall. He's ready to step into the fight, but the woman stops him.
Don't. Stay out of trouble. Don't swing your fist.
These words make him uneasy. He realizes that she might understand that he's just pretending to be an idiot. In the evening, her son returns from work and intends to find the thugs. He's a police intern, so he's determined. Dong-gu comes to the schoolboy at the gas station where he works as an attendant and asks for help to free his so-called stepbrother. The thugs grabbed him when he tried to deal with them. The schoolboy effortlessly deals with the thugs. After all this, Dong-gu approaches his stepbrother, as always, in his fool's guise, and the brother tells him that one needs to be strong to take care of the family.
But don't worry, I will take care of my family till the end. You can count on me, got it?
Stop playing Godfather, fella.
The next day, during a barbecue with neighbors and close friends, Dong-gu catches himself thinking that in this environment, he is changing, and he fears that he might get too attached to this place. Meanwhile, in North Korea, the scar-faced colonel visits the minister. The minister says they intend to improve relations with South Korea, and the presence of spies from Squad 54 in South Korea could complicate the rapprochement of the two states. Therefore, the minister orders the colonel to bring all the spies back home, then disband the squad and declare them traitors to the homeland, after which all the spies should be executed and all documentation about them destroyed. But the colonel asks the minister to give the spies a chance to die as heroes, not as traitors. He promises to give them the order to self-destruct in South Korea.
Are you sure about that?
I will kill them all myself in case of any contumacy.
Dong-gu enjoys his carefree life in South Korea, but it comes to an end when he receives a message on his pager with an order to self-destruct. After that, a wave of horrific cases of people committing unthinkable sweeps across South Korea. The schoolboy comes to Dong-gu. The boy is also confused. He intends to execute Dong-gu because he understands that he didn't obey the order since he's still alive.
Don't be stupid. Take the gun away. What did I tell you, Ruhwan? We are just like those anchovies. No one will care if we disappear.
Eventually, a dispute flares up between the three spies. Dong-gu is ready to commit the unthinkable and obey the order, but he wants to know if the Republic will take care of his mother. Before carrying out the task, he wants to consult with his instructor. Meanwhile, the South Korean intelligence services are bewildered by the mass of dead bodies overnight. However, the head of the special unit is not very surprised.
There are only 3 left. They are still young.
Just follow the order.
The leadership orders him not to intervene and let the enemy spies finish the task. But he can't leave it like that and intends to save the remaining people. Soon, somehow, the chief of the South Korean special unit finds Dong-gu and urges him to refuse the order. While they talk, it turns out that he is also from Squad 54, eventually defected to South Korea and simply doesn't want young people to blindly sacrifice their lives for the elusive ideals of the homeland. The schoolboy attacks the officer and goes after him in pursuit, but the South Korean special forces manage to capture him.
Hide me. I ran away.
What?
Dong-gu goes to the barber and cuts his hair. He appears before all the people who have become dear to him in his true guise. He bids farewell to the woman who took him in, says wise words of farewell to Yu-ran and her younger brother. Then he hands over all his savings to the lady of the night and also gives her a note with her child's address in the USA.
It will be enough to buy a ticket, your adopted kid, and cover yourself a bit.
Then he knocks out the special unit officer and uses his microphone to get in touch with the chief. The chief informs Dong-gu that the colonel arrived to South Korea to finish off the remaining spies.
GPS devices in your bodies.
Dong-gu suggests to Rockstar that they go to a deserted place to avoid putting the local residents in danger. During the interrogation, the schoolboy asks the head of the special unit to take him with them. He wants to help save his commander from the assassins from the north, and for that, promises to renounce his homeland. Meanwhile, in an abandoned building, the battered colonel finds Dong-gu. The colonel suggests that the guy carry out the order. Dong-gu is ready to do it, but wants to know if the Republic will take care of his mother before that. The scar-faced colonel refuses to answer this question and simply repeats the order.
The command from the nation is unconditional.
As a result, a fight ensues, mixed with a shootout. During this, Dong-gu falls out of the window of the building. At this moment, the two boys who used to bully him approach him.
Dong-gu, what happened?
Go away.
Why? You gonna poop again? You shouldn't shit where people can see you.
At this moment, the rock star arrives just in time in a Korean car and takes away Dong-gu with the kids. They drop off the kids near their home and head to the agreed-upon place, another abandoned building. Dong-gu had previously met the fat courier and asked him to bring weapons from his house here. In the building, the courier hands them a bag, but inside, they find bricks. They realize that the fat guy is not on their side. Then the courier confesses that his true mission is to keep an eye on the spies so that they don't betray the Republic.
You know, I was sure. Now it's proved right as you betray the nation. Let me introduce myself. I am a professor of political philosophy at University Kim Il-sung, Susan-hook.
His personal henchmen arrive, and a fight begins. During the brawl, Dong-gu learns from the fat man that when a spy is sent on a mission, his relatives are immediately thrown into prison. Since Dong-gu didn't obey the order to kill himself, his mother was executed. At that moment, the scarred colonel with his assistant arrive at the scene. Also, the South Korean Special Forces show up. The schoolboy, who they eventually took with them, escapes from the car and eliminates several North Korean snipers to save his captain.
All the snipers are eliminated. Go save the captain, quickly.
The Rockstar and Dong-gu climb onto the roof, attempting to escape from the crumpled colonel. However, he catches up with them together with his men. The fight continues on the roof. While the Rockstar deals with the colonel's men, Dong-gu goes one-on-one with the scar-faced villain. However, the rumpled colonel surpasses his protege in combat, and when he is about to finish the boy, the South Korean Special Forces appear on the roof. The schoolboy, disguised as a Special Forces operative, shoots the battered colonel, who pulls out a grenade to blow himself up together with the remaining spies. However, the Rockstar sacrifices himself. He grabs the colonel, and they both fall from the roof of the building. The schoolboy runs up to his commander and tries to protect him. He is not willing to surrender. Overwhelmed by grief due to the loss of his mother,
Wake up! Get to your senses!
Dong-gu finds a savings book in his jacket pocket, placed there by the woman who took him. He sees that every month she had been depositing money into his account for his living expenses. The guy recalls how she used to call him her son. In desperation, he shouts that he wants to go back to his new family and loved ones, where he lived for the past few years. But in panic, the schoolboy shoots the head of the special unit, and a return fire ensues. Dong-gu embraces his protege, and a hail of bullets pierces them through. They fall from the roof of the building. Against the backdrop of their lifeless bodies, we hear their dialogue from a little earlier about who they would like to be in the next life.
An ordinary man living in a peaceful country.
I wish I could lead the next door to your ordinary family.
Then I would be the voluptuous girl next door to both of yours.